Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video, it's time for an unboxing, a Tops Knives unboxing. Here in my hands, this is the Armado 6.5. Now this video is going to be fun for me. I like when I've watched the development of a knife from beginning to end, seen all the stages. We have seen this come all the way around from where the prototype was introduced. We saw it at SHOT Show. We talked with the people at Tops about it. And now, well, finally, after all the hard work, we have the production model in our hands. So full circle today. And when it comes to the Armado 6.5, this is a Josh Navarrete design. If you're not familiar with him, he is a Forged in Fire champion. He's been on a couple of episodes, and I believe, if I'm correct, he won them all. So anyway, at this point today, we're going to unbox this, take a look at it in detail, talk about the highlights, and for me, where I think this is going to definitely be a fantastic, oversized, and fairly large but manageable camp knife. And then in the future, we'll get into all the field use, but for today, the unboxing. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Tops Knives who did provide this for review. And so again, as we get into this, the Armado 6.5. Now, if you look around a little bit, maybe you do a little bit of research, jump online, go maybe to YouTube, you can find a little more information here on both Josh Navarrete and also on his Armado 6.5 design, and specifically coming from him. So he does talk about this a bit. You can see here as we break this out of the package, coming with some blade lube and blade oil. That's cool. And then also the knife. Now, this for me is going to fall in kind of a sweet spot, in my opinion, where this is larger than your sort of typical belt knife, but smaller than what I would consider to be a survival class knife. But this is definitely going to be on the size of a medium to medium large camp knife, a smaller survival knife, but definitely something that is in a do-all category. And I believe if you look closely enough and you listen carefully enough, that's exactly what Josh was going for. So this blade size class, again being 6.5 inch blade size, is literally perfect for, everything from your fire prep. I am, a huge believer in having a knife for fire prep. I start almost every single one of my fires, literally with a knife, not an axe. I'm not an axe guy. I'm a knife guy. So that is definitely going to come into play here. You can see this has a nice belly, so you can do some quality food prep. This should be a great slicer. And the handle is just a gorgeous shape. Tops always doing a fantastic job with their fit and finish. Here you have kind of a natural canvas micarta. At least it looks to be that natural canvas micarta. Thin red liners in there. And this has, and I don't know if they're calling this their sniper gray finish, but if I had to guess, just by looking, this is the sniper gray Cerakote. I will try to verify that and annotate below. 3-bolt design holding these on, so they are removable scales. You can see an exposed lanyard hole on the bottom. A little bit of a bird's beak, however, it is absolutely rounded out, so that should not catch you. No exposed pommel, and personally, I prefer that. I always like getting on the back of my knife for stabbing tasks, and this has a real nice weight and balance. And the reason why I'm so excited to get this in my hands, again, going back to the fact that we've basically watched this in all stages of development, from the early prototypes and again all the way now to the production model. As we take a look at that keen edge there, the secondary bevel, real nice and sharp all the way around. Little sharpening choil in the back there, so you can get that blade sharp from the back all the way up to the tip. Now, this grind in my opinion, is about perfect. And there may be one part about this that's just in the eye of the bow holder, take it or leave it. First off, high saber grind, I love. This blade shape is awesome. I love the sweeping belly. I love the fact that it has a real nice high flat grind going up into that 2/3 saber. That's awesome. And then the part that for me is a little bit take it or leave it would be the unsharpened swedge. That's a large unsharpened swedge all the way from the jimping all the way to the tip. And that's going to beat up on a baton. And for me, where I really love my fire prep with my knife, that's going to make it just a little bit limited. But you can see this is heavily oiled coming from the factory. So I'm going to go upstairs, wash this off, just get this so that it's a little less gleaming and a little less fingerprints, and we'll continue on. But what I can definitely say is going to be sweet about that unsharpened swedge. Well, this does two things. One, it makes this knife really light and nimble. You've taken a lot of mass off the top of that blade stock thickness, which leaves this incredibly nimble. So a knife of this size, feeling this light and balanced in the hand, that is definitely part of it. And I would say it absolutely has to do with the fact that there's that large unsharpened swedge. And second, this is going to be a stabbing beast. So if you're using this in the hunting or even self-defense scenario, that's going to make this really, really stabby. So there are, obviously benefits and pros and cons with most aspects of most designs. And again, like I said, with that unsharpened swedge, take it or leave it. The real only negative to the unsharpened swedge is the fact that it's going to beat up your baton. And so what? You're in the woods. Carve yourself a couple batons, you'll be okay. So I think, in my opinion, I'd rather have the unsharpened swedge and have a knife that is this light and balanced for its given size. I mean, this is really, truly incredibly nimble feeling for how large of a knife it is. This is, again, in my opinion, in sort of a mid-size to large camp knife size. So for me, that mid-size kind of falls off around the 6-inch mark. This is getting more into that like large size camp knife size. And I could also, honestly, I could really see this having an XL version and definitely being longer, and even with the same handle. Now, let's talk about the handle just a bit. This handle is awesome. It feels really good in the hands. I have a large size hand, and this fits perfectly. Enough room behind, so even if I had an extra large hand, I feel like that would just lock in and index very well. This is contoured and curved so nicely that I don't think that's going to cause any hot spots, even though that steel does get exposed. We'll see in some light chopping if that ends up crushing on my pinky, but I don't think it will with my initial impressions. I love the size of this. It's slab-sided. It doesn't have a really heavily pronounced swell in the middle of the handle, but it doesn't need it because it kind of swells this way and it fills out very well. And again, that just feels balanced to me. Everything about this just feels really just balanced. I'm going to get it right on that sort of choil, and yeah, you can see it's neutrally balanced right on that choil. So that's just perfect. They got this dialed in from a balance perspective, and that really does aid in the overall feel and control that you're going to get with this knife. But again, Top's always doing a nice job with their fit and finish, doing a nice job marrying the scales to the tang of the knife all the way around that pommel, nicely softened, all the edges and contours rounded out wonderfully, so that's fantastic. I do like the fact that this goes up into the jimping, and it's not a ramp so much, but maybe just subtly. The jimping's going to be a little bit sharp for some people. Again, jimping is very, very much an acquired taste. Some people like it, some people don't. And then when it comes to people that like jimping, again, it's just very specific. So some people like aggressive jimping, some people like little skinny, tight little filed jimping. This is a little more on the aggressive side. I'm not going to have any problem with that. I don't mind it. Personally, in my opinion, I prefer to not have jimping, but again, I don't take that away from the design and call that a negative, and I also don't blame the designer for putting it on there. I mean, it's just, from a style perspective, it looks great. From a functional perspective, it definitely has its place. It's really just an opinion, and again, I don't really take away at all from this design because it has jimping. I just think, that's clearly an opinion for different people and what they like or don't like. Now, the carry system is make or break to the user's experience, and I love that this comes with a fantastic Kydex sheath. Top's always doing a nice job with their fit and finish. They have this beautiful leather dangler. We've seen this system on a number of other knives in the past, and it is what I would say is very effective. A little bit overbuilt and beefy with that huge D-ring, the nice snaps, awesome die, just beautifully done, very well stitched, good and thick, but it all comes down to the fit of the knife. What do we have here? Nice click, virtually no rattle, and a system that is going to just so effortlessly and carefully and appropriately manage and carry your knife while out in the wilderness, on the trails, at your campsite. That's awesome. And bottom line is, if you want to, you could certainly remove this. That is a system that can be taken off. It's a bolt-on design, which is cool. And I'll just check real quick to see if this is industry standard spacing, which unfortunately, no, it is not. And that is the first, I would say, negative to this at this point. In my opinion, every single eyelet put on a sheath should count and be accounted for, what it's there for and why it's being used. And retention and knife shape is only one function of eyelets, and these are not industry standard spacing. And if you take a look here, for example, here's just another sheath. This is my carnivore design from Work Tough Gear, and we specifically lay all eyelets out with industry standard, 3/4 or 1.5 inch spacing. These are more like 1.25 inches, maybe? Not even, it's like 1.125 inches, which just leaves it in between sizes, and you can't use alternate means of connecting your knife to gear. So I would love the ability to potentially use alternate clips. You could use molly locks, molly clips, you could use tech locks, things like that. So this definitely will leave it limited. So maybe you're not going to be looking to take that dangler off after all. So that, in my opinion, is the first negative. So I think from a general practical standpoint, I would encourage Tops to just pay attention to those details. I know that they know better. They maybe just, I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't know why you would not use industry standard spacing on a Kydex with eyelets, but that's just me. But all in all, a fantastic design. This package looks beautiful. I cannot wait to get this out into the field. So the next thing for me, bust this out for the field use. And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the Armado 6.5. Very, very nice. Just an awesome design from Josh Navarrete. Again, just the perfect sweet spot between an oversized, large, robust, and just capable camp knife. Just small, in my opinion, for that survival class. Just a little big for your typical belt knife. But the good thing is it's so balanced, you're not going to have a problem carrying this on your belt. You're probably just not going to realistically EDC it. I know some people are going to say, I'll EDC that. I would too, trust me. I just can't. But this thing is awesome. The unsharpened swedge definitely lending to the balance. The overall fit and finish, always awesome. That handle melting into my hands. This is going to be a stellar performer. So the first thing I can say, and even without getting into any of the field use, I'd love to see this in a larger version. I know it's going to have that same balanced and nimble capability. Give you a little more of those limbing tasks and chopping tasks, and also be in that survival class. So that would be a real cool addition to the lineup. Just playing off of it, maybe it would be the Armado 9.5 would be pretty killer. But in combination invention with the top sheath, always very nicely done. That beautiful package. This thing is going to be a dream. So, again, very well done. Thank you very much to the people at Tops Knives who did provide this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.